Yeah, we are live, sir.
Hi team, good evening. Welcome back to our training. And today we are going to explain about Ajax. So let me share my screen. So since we had a discussion about yesterday, how are we going to create a dynamic cards using JavaScript? Guys, those who have attended yesterday's session, that is very important session. When we are working on real-time applications, we should always send a request from client side to the server side. Now, so far, whatever the concept that we learn by using all these concepts, that we will be able to create a static web pages. But in real time, the software companies are not going to expect from a developer to create a static applications. The companies are always expecting to create a dynamic applications. Now, before stepping into an Ajax, I just wanted to explain you what is static application, what is dynamic application, so that if you guys are aware of the differences between these two, it will be easier for all of you to understand what is Ajax is all about. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just setting up something for all of you. Give me 2 minutes of time. So as we discussed, the agenda for today, we are going to teach Ajax. Ajax is very important technique, my dear friends. Now, as I already said, if you guys would like to create a dynamic applications. Now, first let me talk about what is static, what is dynamic applications. Now, before writing something, and many people already using some applications in on day-to-day life. If you go for Amazon, or if you see Facebook or Gmail, or whatever the application that you people are using on daily basis, all these applications are dynamic applications. And in real time, guys, the companies are always preparing dynamic come static application, both. So now I will try to explain about what is dynamic application. So before moving on to the concept, so let me draw one simple diagram, my dear friends. So please try to understand. This is a quite common architecture that every software companies are going to follow. Now, this system is called as presentation layer. So the business users, those who are accessing this application, all the business users are accessing this system. So these business users will always, these guys are business users. To whom we will call it as a business users? The users who are giving a business to your application is called as business users. Even though if you are planning to buy some products, just give me 1 minute. So now you see here, so you people, for example, if you are planning to buy something, since you are planning to buy, if you open Amazon, the one who is going to give a business to Amazon is called as business user. Guys, even if you are this business users always, they are going to interact with the presentation part of an application. For example, however, if you are presenting a data in a web page, these end users are going to watch that data. If you are displaying the data in the format of image, or if you are displaying the data in the format of list, or if you are displaying the data in the format of table, whatever the format that you people are displaying, and this is going to be visible for end users. That is why the companies are giving more priority for a presentation layer of an application. Now listen carefully. If every data which is there inside a presentation page, presentation layer, this is called a static page, static application. In case, generally for every application, guys listen carefully, every application, there will be a database where the data is storing in a database, either in the format of, this is a database, the data can be stored in a database either in the format of tables or no tables, that is up to the different database whatever you are picking up, no matter whatever the format it is, whichever the database that you people are using. Okay, now the data which is there in database, we must have to present in a presentation layer. Now, how are we going to communicate these two systems? So that is what this Ajax comes into your picture. My dear friends, in OSI model, those who are completely new, OSI model, there are 7 layers are there. If you ask me what is OSI, Open System Interconnection, there are 7 layers are there. So I'm not even coming back to this Ajax. Wait, you guys have to understand what is Ajax, why we have to use Ajax, all this stuff before implementing an Ajax into our project. You people have to understand why should we implement an Ajax. Okay, now in OSI model there are 7 layers are there. Out of all the 7 layers, each layer is interconnected with one and the other, then only you will be able to build one dynamic application. Now no matter, but in this OSI model there is no direct interactions. You can't directly interact, client is not going to interact with the database. Same way, database layer cannot interact with the client. These two we should not even allow. This is prohibited because of security reasons. Then how are we going to connect these two systems? Since the data is there in a database, here the admin team, guys listen carefully, the administration team of any application, those guys, the admin users, so only few users, admin users are few users, those guys are keep pushing the data, they are keep pushing the data into database, and also they are going to pull the data into from a database. This is their job, but this is known as, this system is called admin system. So admin system, you don't need to think more about a design. See, you need not to worry too much about decoration and styling. Why? Because admin system is going to access by a company developers or company employees, and you don't need to put a much efforts to decorate this admin system. Since our employees are using, you can even use a normal design also fine. But whereas coming to the system to whom you are presenting, if you are presenting a system for a business users, you have to make these fellows happy. These guys are, you have to make these fellows happy. not these admin users. Anyhow, admin users are our team members, and even if the design is not so great, our people are going to adjust and they are going to push the data into the DB. Now this is how a typical every application is going to have all these features. Now, where is Ajax comes into a picture? Guys, listen carefully. There will be one more to implement connections between a client and database. That is where this middleware comes into a picture. Middleware. Either middleware program, either people can use Java, people can also use .NET, people can go for Python, people can go for PHP or whatever the technology or Node.js. That is up to their wish. Whatever it is. Now, in between this sending a request, now, earlier the traditional applications are directly sending a request from presentation layer to the application layer, which is also called as middleware. Now, Ajax is coming in between. Here, the Ajax is coming into a picture. In this part, Ajax comes into a picture. So the request, the client is sending a request to Ajax layer. Ajax is going to send a request back to a middleware. The middleware is sending a request back to a database. Similarly, database layer is giving a data back to your middleware. Middleware is giving data back to Ajax layer. Ajax is updating data into presentation layer. Now, this is what, Ajax comes into a picture. The main purpose of Ajax, in case, if you consider this is web page, out of entire web page, I would like to update a portion of a page. Only this data I wanted to update. I don't want to update the entire web page. So in the process of updating a portion of a web page, that is where Ajax plays very important role, which will not even allow developer to reload the entire web page, which will allow developer to reload only or refresh only a portion of a web page. That is where Ajax is playing very, very important. What happens without an Ajax? Without Ajax, what happens? Even guys, listen carefully. And if you are going for some websites, like few websites who are not implemented Ajax concept in their websites. Now let me see. If you go back to some websites, now let me take an example of Amazon. Few areas they have implemented Amazon and Amazon India. Let me open Amazon website. Guys, on click of Amazon, now you can see that Amazon homepage is loading. But internally, the moment when you are going for mobiles, you see here on click of mobiles, the entire page is reloading. You will be able to notice that the entire page is reloading. Since the entire page is reloading, it will take some time to load all the resources into this particular web page. Next, guys, listen carefully. In case if I am going for, so let me see here, Samsung Note 10 Lite. When I am clicking on this, again the whole page is reloading. You can see that the whole page is reloading. The response is coming from a backend. Next, so what I'm going to do, even internally, the moment when you are doing some operations, now you see here on HOver, now that respective image only it is loading. Now the page is not even loading fully. Now you see here on HOver, this is called interactions. Now as a user, I'm interacting with my application. Now on interaction, the Amazon it is not loading a data by sending a request back to a backend. Now in a client only the data is processing and it is displaying for a end user. In case, guys, listen carefully. If I'm coming back here, so let me go for, if I'm clicking on any other one more page, again you see here Amazon is opening that particular product in a new page. Now see, instead of opening in a new page, if the Amazon opens in the same page without reloading entire web page, the performance will also be even more faster than opening the page in a new tab. We don't know what sort of logic that Amazon used and why they have not implemented Ajax. And there will be some reasons behind not implementing an Ajax. Similarly, if we come back to a Flipkart, go back to Flipkart. Flipkart is built with a Flipkart website. It is built with React.js as a front end. Now, guys, as long as if you click on any of the product, you guys can even observe the page is not reloading. You can see that the page is not reloading. Whatever you click, you see if you go to MI, the page is not reloading, but the data is loading from a backend. Now what happens, why we don't want to reload? Because guys, when you are reloading, think that the header also it will reload again, the navigation bar also it is reloading again, even the footer of a Flipkart will also reload again and again. Why should we reload the resources which are already loaded? It is not required. That is where, but at different companies have been used different techniques. We don't want to complain about what is the reason behind this implementation in Amazon. And since Flipkart, initially it was developed with different technologies, later on they have implemented the presentation part of the Flipkart by React.js to improve the better user experience and the speed. That is very important, guys. If we are planning to do a business online, the web page performance is always matters a lot. Okay, that's all. I just gave you some simple live examples, guys. Okay, now let me go back to an example. Now you see here, without an Ajax, the entire page is reloading. Think about it. Now if you are going for a normal website, so what is the drawbacks of going for without an Ajax? If you are using without an Ajax, think that this is a page. In this page, header is already loaded, footer is also loaded, and left sidebar is also loaded. Only I must have to update the portion of the data here. Now when user clicks on any of the page, if I would like to update only this portion, why should I reload again this? Why should I reload again this? Why should I reload again this? We don't want to reload the portion of a web page which has already been loaded in the previous request. To avoid unwanted requests from client side to a server, guys, as long as in your web page, if you are reducing the number of requests from client side to a server, then your application will always perform better. Very simple example. In case if you wanted to take a decision, if you guys are taking own decisions, if you have a capability to take own decisions, if you are not depending on your parents, then your performance, your growth will be high. In case for every reason, for example, if you wanted to go for a movie, and if you wanted to take a trainings, or if you want to go for some other place, every request, and if you are keep on depending on your parents, ultimately if the parent takes too much of time to respond, and you have to wait until your parent responds, now your growth will also be limited. That's why we should have a strong knowledge to take decisions by our own. Same it applies even when you are building an applications. The client should be in a position to take a decisions. If the client is depending on backend each and every time, then the data which we are going to serve for our end users will be delayed. If it is delayed, of course, the business users will be unhappy. If they are unhappy, I am sure the application we must have to shut down very soon. That's what if you can see the live example, Yahoo. Yahoo is one of the best search engine once upon a time. Before Google was there, Yahoo was a search engine. But why Yahoo was not able to stay in the market? Because their user experience was not that much good. They were not giving a priority for users. Now Google has, Sundar Pichai has already promised whatever the product that they released into the market, they would like to give first user importance. User experience is the first importance. That is where today all Google products, their experience is damn good for our users. And the one who is always giving a respect to the customers, that business will become billionaire business. That is where the front end is the one which we are targeting to display for end users, my dear friends. Hope you people are able to understand. Okay, now without an Ajax, everywhere unwantedly we must have to reload the resources which are already been loaded. That is why we must have to stop reloading the content. Now, to avoid unwanted reloading resources in a web page, Ajax plays very, very important role. And if you are placing too much of Ajax calls, again, it is a bad idea. So you should not even, keep. So implementing Ajax is the best idea. But if too many times, if you are depending on backend, that will also, dependency is a curse. Don't even implement too much of Ajax calls. That will kill your page performance. If you are using limited calls and one person with a limited task, then he can even perform well. If you are overloading that person by giving a lot of things, then it is very tough for him to give a proper task. Now this is all about theoretical. Now how are we going to implement practically, guys? So what I'm trying to explain, let me save this diagram. It's no option for us to save. That's fine. Let me clear it. Guys, Ajax stands for, first let me explain about what is Ajax. Asynchronous. Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Now in the place of XML, we are not using XML. In the place of XML, in JavaScript we are going to replace with JSON. Now you guys should understand what is JSON is all about. Yesterday I have already created, see here, this is a format of a JSON object. This is a sample format of JSON. Okay, now since earlier people are data exchanging technique. JSON stands for JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. JavaScript Object Notation. JSON. It sounds like a JavaScript object only. Okay. Next, guys, you see here in between a client. So let us talk more about client and server. That's all. I don't want to talk more about what is happening from server to database. This is a quite common architecture. So I don't want to talk much about this. Now, what is happening from server to middleware to a database and database to middleware? This is not our business. We don't want to understand. Always we should worry about how are you going to send a request from client side to a server. This is where how are we going to use Ajax in between these two layers. You must have to aware of it. This is what you are now in between sending a request from client side to a server. You may have to pass a data between these two layers, and you should also pass a data. This is called as request, and whatever the response that we are collecting, this is known as response. Now the request and response can be handled by the data, whatever the response that we are collecting, and that can be handled by JSON. Okay, so when you people are sending a request from client side to your server side, you should also pass some sort of data in order to complete that request. So same time, The server will also process the data back to client. So in such cases, you should also expect the data response from a server. In the process of exchanging a data between client and server, we should go for JSON. JSON is a data exchanging technique. Okay, now Ajax is a technique, guys. Ajax is a platform independent. It can be integrated with any of the backend. Either it may be Java or .NET or PHP, Python, any backend that we can use Ajax to connect from client side to a server side. Okay, now how to implement Ajax? Now Ajax can be integrated by using JavaScript, or we can also use jQuery. So jQuery is a library which is built on top of JavaScript. So whereas coming to JavaScript is a client-side scripting which also uses in server side using the help of Node.js. The story is different. Now JavaScript Ajax implementation is very rare case that developers are going to use. Nowadays, either people are going to use jQuery or people are going to use React or Angular or Vue.js. So I don't want to teach here JavaScript Ajax. I'll try to teach jQuery Ajax directly. Those who are not aware of basics of jQuery, please try to understand what is jQuery. I'll try to explain how to place Ajax calls using jQuery, which is a predefined library which consists of some sort of predefined methods. Those methods can be used to build a web application common tasks. Okay, hope you people are able to understand what is Ajax, why should we implement Ajax, and what are the advantages over Ajax. What if Ajax is not implemented? For all these questions, I think this session is the one which is going to give answer for all your questions. Now, earlier people are implementing Ajax calls by using JavaScript. Now, either you can use jQuery to implement Ajax, or we can also use React. If we are using React as a front-end library, we can use React. Or if you are using Angular as a front-end framework, we can also implement services in Angular. If you are using Vue.js, at different places and different way of implementation, but the concept of Ajax remains same in all other frameworks and libraries. So, and one more important note, Ajax cannot be performed in flat file system. Ajax can be executed and it can be performed in server to server communication. Client should also be placed in a server, and middleware should also be placed in server. So now guys, when you are transmitting a data from client side, now let me see 1 minute what I'm trying to explain here. Now yesterday I created a dummy data. So you see here I created a dummy data. Now instead of creating a dummy data, if you wanted to expect this data to be collected from a middleware, how are we going to send a request? Now you should also have a middleware in place. And here we are not here to explain how middleware is constructed, how database is constructed. We are here to explain about how this front end with Angular is going to work. And if I would like to explain about middleware and database, it may take a couple of hours extra time. That we can even do it in a different sessions. Okay, but now, as I already said, if you wanted to implement Ajax calls, make sure that your client and middleware and database, all three systems must be placed inside a application server. Again, I'm repeating, if you wanted to implement Ajax calls, make sure that your client, middleware and database, all these three systems must be placed inside either local server or application server. So if you people are aware of what is server, now see, for Java based applications, if you wanted to execute, you need a Tomcat server. If you would like to execute this PHP or Python based applications, you need a Apache server. If you are planning to execute Microsoft related programming concepts like .NET, ASP.NET, C Sharp, .NET Core, we need IIS server. Now let me explain. It is depends upon which server side programming that you are using. Now think about, I am using PHP or Python, so I may need Apache server. So my Apache server I am just integrating in my local machine. How can I install my Apache server into local? Guys, listen carefully. So there is one control panel called JAMP. If you open the screen, and JAMP control panel, which I have installed for my Windows operating system. XAMPP. X stands for cross platform, A stands for Apache, M stands for MySQL, P stands for PHP, Python, and another P stands for Perl. So guys, listen carefully. This is one control panel. It is a tool. So this particular tool consists of Apache, MySQL, FileZilla, Mercury, Tomcat. These guys are different services. I am executing Apache server. Apache server I am going to start. Why? Because as I already said, if you want to send a request from client side to a server, make sure that your client machine must be placed inside either local server or application server. Your middleware should also be there in local server or application server. Your database should also be there in local server or. Get my point? Now, if you ask me to place an Ajax, to execute an Ajax calls, you need any one server. Either it may be a local server or application server. It might be cloud also. Guys, listen. However, if you are writing a code in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you need a browser to convert that into your output. Similarly, if you guys are going for a database like backend like Java, .NET, PHP, all this kind of middleware programming, if you wanted to execute, then a different servers are required. Apache for converting PHP into an output, and Tomcat server is going to convert JavaScript code into Java code into an output. Like that, different servers I need. Now, as I discussed, Ajax is going to work in between client and server, and it will allow client to interact with the server, and it will also allow server to interact with the client. This is what the communication between a client and server without reloading a web page. That is where Ajax layer comes into a picture. So in order to interact this client and server by using an Ajax, make sure that client and server must be there in local server. That is where I am preparing a local server, my dear friends. In case if the middleware, whatever the server, middleware, if the middleware would like to interact with the database, now database services also you must have to run. Now I created one sample dynamic application for all of you to display. Just an example, Ajax using jQuery. And you should not even ask me how this middleware is communicating to the database. That is none of your business. Because we are a front-end developers. So the front-end developers, they must be focused more on client and server, not server and database. Next, I started services in my operating system. Let me minimize this. And guys, when you are using Apache server, and there is an option for all of us to place Apache server code in a respective folders. Now in JAMP, it is allowing us to place it inside HUDocs folder. Okay, now let me see. I'm going back to my folder. I installed my JAMP server in my E drive. Inside E, when you install JAMP, so JAMP is a package. You can even search in internet how to install JAMP in your Windows operating system or Mac operating system. It is just only a downloadable file, exe file, and click next, which will install in your operating system. That is nothing much required for you to install this JAMP control panel. The moment on successful installation, the respective directory, the folder is going to create it, JAMP. Within that JAMP folder, you can even find a lot of other files. You don't need to worry about all of them. Make sure that your program, your project, or your example must be placed inside htdocs. This is the right folder to place your server side, client, server, and database related all the logics that you have to put it in this place. That is how JAMP is giving an option for all the people. Now inside htdocs, you see here we have created many projects. We have created many projects. Out of all, I also created one simple example for all of you guys. And Ajax by using JavaScript also I created, and Ajax by using jQuery also I created. Guys, one simple example that I created, that is very simple example for all of you to understand Ajax by JavaScript. Now let me pull this into my editor. So I'm just pulling into my editor. Now guys, very simple. Here what I'm planning to explain here, index.html is my initial page. Now this is one W3 Schools example only I'm just explaining, but one real life example which I have already created, I'll also explain that as well. Now if you execute this, see, however, earlier when we created HTML, there was an option for us to right click and open in a browser. Now if you right click and open in a browser, guys listen carefully, Ajax won't even work. Why? Because this is completely a flat file system. Now you see in the URL, this is called as file system. This is called as file system. Now in file system, Ajax won't even work. If we inspect, all the Ajax request will be logged under developer tool. This is called developer tool. To open a developer tool, you guys have to go for right click, inspect element, or Control Shift I, it will open a developer tool. Now under developer tool, you can see elements tab, console tab, source tab. Now we must have to talk about network tab. As we discussed, the Ajax is going to place request from client side to a server. That is where from one network to another network that we are placing. All the Ajax calls now on click of about, you see here, on click of about, on click of services. Some calls which I am executing, but none of the call is placing from client side to the server side, because on click of about you can see that the number of error count is increasing, and each time when I'm clicking on about, the count is increasing, error count. The reason is there is an error. Now if you look after this error, as I already discussed in the beginning of the session, Ajax can be placed by using server. Now the flat file system, if your front end code is there in clients, flat file system, using flat file system, if you try to place an Ajax calls, I am sure that is not going to execute. That is what it says. Access to your XML request at from origin null has been blocked by CARS policy. What is this CARS policy, guys? Please try to understand. When you guys are sending a request from client to a server, make sure that both client and server must be there in application server. That is what I said. Now, if index.html, if you guys are loading through a flat file system, if the server code is there at server, Ajax won't even work. Now, to avoid this kind of issues in a browser, guys listen carefully. There is a way to execute your Ajax or server-side code. Instead of using a flat file system, in the URL I'm just using local server. Local server, address is localhost. This is a domain name. Localhost is a domain name for your local server. Now guys listen carefully, which is also pointing that index.html, it is loading output. Now as long as when I'm clicking as about, now you see that the request has placed from client side to a server. If you go to the network, now about.php, I have used middleware as PHP. The request, now we are at index.html, which is a client. From client, we have sent a request to a server, that is about.php, which is a middleware. So now cross-origin resource sharing, that one error that we have seen. What is that CORS error? Guys, when we are sending a request from client side to a server, and client is a different origin, server is different origin, though both of them are placed in a one particular application server, but their origin might change. Now, if you guys are there in a same apartment, and if you are staying in one flat, and if your girlfriend is staying in another flat, and if you are sending a request from one flat to another flat, make sure that you should have right permissions, correct permissions from another flat. If you don't have a correct permissions from another flat, then ultimately you are going to face problems. Now, similarly, if your client is interacting with the server, make sure that you should have a right permissions from sharing a data from client side to your servers. If you don't have a proper permissions when you are hitting from client side to your server, that is where the browser is stopping that request. Browser will try to think that some vulnerable request is placed from client side to the server. That is where for a security purpose, browsers are going to stop those requests. To enable or to request a browser to place those requests, either we have to request server to enable that CORS issue, or we have an option to enable CORS issue in client side as well. But enabling from a client side is a bad idea. Why? Because, so if you are working on a real example, guys, so if you are working on, for example, if you are working on a real-time application, you never know how many pages, how many users are going to access your application. You also never know from where your users are accessing your application. If you are requesting client, I mean to say website users to enable the CORS in their presentation layer, it is highly tough. If you are handling them in a server, the server will be in our control, but not a users. One user can even log in from Bangalore, another user can even access your application from Indonesia, Pakistan, or US, UK, but you can't even request each and every user to enable CORS from their client computer. To avoid those kind of problems, we should always go for server side enabling. That server side people a day, they will try to do all these activities. You need not to worry about it. Hope you people are aware of it. Next, what I'm trying to explain, guys, listen carefully. Now, the moment when you for example, if you reload, now you can see this portion. Just an example I prepared. You see this portion. Now some dummy data is there, title heading and title description. As long as if you click on about, you see that the response which we collected from a backend, that response we are displaying in this portion without reloading entire page. Now go back to home, sir, reload. Again, now we are in a home page. Guys, on click, try to observe the browser refresh and see without reloading a page. Now the portion of a web page, this portion we have updated by collecting a data from a middleware. You need not to understand how middleware is connected back to database and how these two systems are communicated between each other. That is none of a front-end developer business to understand. These kind of implementations, every project we may have to implement at least one Ajax call. If it is a dynamic application, multiple Ajax calls that we have to integrate all together, my dear friends. So without an Ajax, and we can't even call it as a dynamic application. But few requests, we must always limit our request from client side to a server side. The Ajax calls we have to limit. We should not even write unlimited calls. As long as if you're allowing unlimited calls, it matters on a performance. It impacts on a website performance. Okay, next. So this is what I created, but programmatically, how are we going to create this? How do you achieve this? That is what. If you ask me, let me open the code. Guys, on click of about, now you should also know how are you going to attach events. Now I'll brief you about events in JavaScript as well. Guys, listen carefully, and in the line number 194, guys, listen. Here document is DOM object. By using document, get element by ID. Since we had a discussion about how to select an element in JavaScript. Get element by ID. We selected an element whose ID is equal to about. And one more method, add event listener method. Guys, someone asked about in the last session, someone asked about what is callback functions. Now today in this session, I would like to explain about what is callbacks is all about. Now my dear friends, now this line number, I'm going to explain about each and every line. You please try to ask if you have any questions, and we are also ready to attempt all your answers, my dear friends. Now see, document is a DOM object. DOM object is responsible for manipulating any items inside a document while working on runtime. Now you see here, get element by ID. This get element by ID is the predefined method, which is going to allow developer to select an element whose ID is equal to about inside a web page. Next, add event listener, which is also predefined function, and this method is allowing developer to attach a click event. To whom we are going to attach this click event? For an element whose ID is equal to about. Once the click event is attached to this is known as anonymous function, a function without a, you see here, a function without a name. This is a function without a name. From flower bracket to this flower bracket, this is a function definition. Now this anonymous function we are calling the moment when user clicks on the element whose ID is equal to about. This is how the internal meaning of entire code. Any questions on this particular code? Now we are selecting an element whose ID is equal to about. For that element we are attaching a click event, and to handle that click event we are writing a callback method, which is also called as anonymous function. This sounds like a different syntax, but if you understand the logic, it is very, very easy to remember. Now this function is called as a callback function. Now here I have created an instance for my XML HTTP request object, and send method is a predefined method which is going to connect from a client side to a server. It will establish the route between a client and server, my dear friends. Now, so the events in the place of click, if you wanted to attach double click, or if you wanted to attach key press, key up, key down, right click, left click, mouse over, mouse enter, H over, any event which is there in JavaScript, if you would like to attach for an element, you can keep passing about this, guys. Okay. Next, guys. Now, if you wanted to implement an Ajax, make sure that first you have to create an XML HTTP request object. This is a step number 1 to implement an Ajax in JavaScript. I'm explaining using JavaScript, pure JavaScript, which is also called as vanilla JavaScript. So, guys, let me explain. For example, you have a switch and you also have a fan. Now, if there is no connection between a fan and switch, even if you are switching on, if the connection is not there, the fan is not going to interact. The fan is not going to function. Why? Because the switch and fan, both of them are not in relation. See, in order to enable the request, for example, on click, if you wanted to display some sort of data by getting the data from a backend, that is where this anonymous function is the one which handles the interaction which is made by a user, the action which is made by a user. If user clicks, you have to handle that click event. That is where, so this anonymous functions are coming into a picture to handle the action which is taken place by end user. And someone is asking about explain about local storage and session storage. That story is completely different, which is out of a Ajax concept. I'll try to explain about that. Please wait for some time. And since we are targeting on Ajax and JSON, you please try to understand. Okay guys, next what I'm trying to explain, first the step number one is we have to create XML HTTP request object to place an Ajax calls in a browser. Step number one here, in the line number 181, I have created XML HTTP request object. How did I create it? You see here, XML request object is a predefined class in JavaScript. For that, we are creating an instance by using a new operator. The line number 181 clearly says, I have created a local identifier, which is named as HTTP OBJ is equal to new of XML HTTP request object. So without this XML HTTP request object, you can't even place an Ajax calls from client side to your server. Right after that, you should also open a connection. But Ajax has majorly, if you ask me, you guys have to understand these three main concepts. The following are the main concepts of Ajax. The following are the main concept. See, theoretically, if you try to understand Ajax, I'm sure that is not going to be easy for you to understand. Now, let me explain about this main concepts. For that, again, I'm just drawing a three-tier architecture. Now, this is client mission, and there will be a database mission. In between, there will be a middleware. So, these two communications, that is none of your developer's business. You don't need to worry about it. Now, in between, here Ajax comes into your picture. We are sending a request to Ajax layer. Ajax is processing that request, and same way we are also collecting the request and we are updating into frontend. Now, when you are sending a request from client, this is known as a client, which is also called as presentation. This is known as server. So between these two systems, how are we going to establish a connection, the communication between these two by using an Ajax? So to do that, first step number one, you guys have to create XML HTTP request object. After that, guys, listen carefully. How are we going to implement Ajax calls? For that, the methods are very, very important. We can also use onClick Siva. So, but add event listener, it is completely pure JavaScript way to attach a click event to an element. Or we can also use onClick, that is HTML attribute. Next, guys, listen. Sorry. And here, first you should understand what sort of methods which are available to send a request from client to a server. Now, get method, post method, put method, and delete method. Guys, it's all about, see, if you see when you are going for a bank, if you wanted to deposit amount into your mission, they will ask you to fill a deposit form. If you wanted to withdraw, you have to fill a withdrawal form. If you wanted to put a check, you have to put some different forms. That is what you have to use it. Now, similarly, if you wanted to submit or send a request from client to a server, make sure that you should know what method you're supposed to use while placing an Ajax call. Get method. Get method is only for pulling a data from a server. If you are planning to pull data from a server, then get is the one, because the get says get the data. Post, if you are pushing the data into server, that is what you are going to use post. Post requests are always push the data from client side to a server. Get request is always for collect the data from a server to update into client. Whereas coming to put is comes under updating. Update the data into a server. Delete is there directly, you can even say delete the data into server. Now get the data from a server is get, put the data into server is and create a new data. I mean to push the data into a server is post, and update the data which is there in server, that is put, and deleting a data is delete. This is what, based upon your operations, what user is going to perform. Whether, see, max to max, what we are going to do, sir. Maximum, if you see, either you can purchase the item, or you can update the item, or you can destroy the item, or you can use the item. This maximum 4 operations that we are going to perform. Even every daily life, if you have a computer, what maximum you can do with the computer? Any product, you can buy a product, or you can use a product, or you can destroy a product, or you can even sell the product. Now there are create, read, update, delete. These are the 4 operations that users are performing against a web elements inside a page. Creating, reading, updating, deleting. That is known as CRUD operations. These are the 4 operations that users are going to perform frequently. So make sense? Now get, post. So there is no push, post method. Either get method or post method or put method or delete method. There is no push. Okay. Now guys, maybe if you are familiar with HTML, in HTML also when you are submitting a form, we might have learned the form submission using get or post. The get always submit a form using an URL. Through a URL, the data is going to submit. Now here, let me explain about how are we going to see. Now state, guys, one more important, whatever the method that we are implementing, no matter whether it's a get request or post request or put or delete. Now, since you are sending a request from client side to a server, now server is in a different place and client will be there in different place. Now, in such cases, you are nowhere, controlled the request. You can't even understand what is happening. You see, guys, I don't know the participants where they are sitting and what you people are doing at moment. I don't know, because sending a request is my responsibility, and until the response comes from a server, I should wait. And I in the sense being a client, I don't know what is happening in my server, but being a client, I should also engage my customer who has requested a action, who has already performed the action. Guys, if you see, when you click on, see, for example, if you are planning to buy a product, as long as if user clicks on add to cart, now think that the backend is taking longer time. The backend is not allowing to add product into your cart. If that is the case, now on clicker, user is clicking on element which is there in front end. Since there is a error in backend, but the client side, it has to engage the customer. On click of add to cart, if it is not adding the product into cart due to some reasons, the client should be in a position to handle that request, and client has to say, hey, there is some internal server error, please wait for some time. Some sort of engagement activities that we have to do it. If you are not engaging the customer, customers will feel unhappy. If customers are unhappy, again it will impact on the business. That is where, when you are placing an Ajax calls, end of the day, the business users are keep accessing the client. They don't care about what is happening between a client and server. They will be keep watching on this system. Now this is client mission responsibility to engage these customers as well. On successful, request, if the request is successful, the data will come from a backend and we have to update the data over here. On failure, if the data is not coming, though we have to update the information to the business users. Either update the right information or engage the customer. Sometimes what happens, we are sending a request from client side to a server. So anything can happen when you are sending a request. because it is request. The request can be successful or it can have any failure scenarios as well. Now, how are we going to identify? That is where, so these are the different states which are there, my dear friends. Now, 0, the connection is not yet started. Now, connection is established. Connection, the request is sent from client 0, 1, 2, and request is in progress. The response, the fourth one is response is came. Response completed in the sense the request is successfully placed from client side to a server, and the response is received from server to client, so that we are about to collect the response from a server. That is what the state 4 states all about. Now, since you are sending, for example, if you are sending a request from your home to a neighbor home, you never know what happens in a neighbor home. You must have to wait until neighbors are going to respond. So to engage what is happening between that network layer, that is where Ajax layer is also dealing with those kind of requests to give a response back to your client. Ajax has given a different kind of states. The methods will define what sort of method that you have to execute, and state is going to define what is the current state of a request which we have performed, and status is also one of the one. What is the current status of your application? Now 200 plus is a success. 200 plus in the sense 200 to 299 all comes under success state. 300 to 399 till 399 related to forbidden and permission related issues. When are we going to get this permission and permission? Guys, sometimes if the client is sent a request to a server, if the client user, there is no option for him to hit that particular request. In such cases, we are going to give an error message saying that you are not a right person, you are not authorized person. Now 400 series errors, 500 series errors. 400 is related to resource issues like page not found or function not found. Whereas coming to 500, it is something related to internal server. Internal server, either it could be a, your server code is not working or your client is not sending some sort of parameters. Guys, HTML, CSS, and some sort of JavaScript, anybody can even write it. When it comes to real-time applications, you should know this all Ajax and JSON. These guys are being used in live applications to implement. That is why we are giving a kind of examples which we have already implemented them in a real life applications. You please try to understand. And today, if you have a knowledge, tomorrow when you people are come across any this kind of implementations in your life, it will be easier for you to recollect the memory. That is where kindly take this particular session as so serious session. Also, don't even divert us. We won't even divert, but when you are giving a comments, please try to have a common sense at least. You should have minimum common sense when you are typing some comments. And some people I could see here, they are keep on, giving some different comments which are not related to a session. But we are educated, my dear friends. I don't mind if you are keep, interfering and interrupting, that is fine. But those interfering and interruptions will definitely disturb our focus. It is my sincere advice, who are already disturbing, who wanted to disturb this session, kindly please, stay away from this session. At least those who are serious people, it will be useful for the serious people. Thank you so much for your participation, those who are disturbing. So here, if you want to ask some questions with respect to a concept, I'm happy to explain multiple times. If you're asking some nonsense questions which are diverting our mood or our complete, then which will impact on a session, my dear friends. Hope you people are aware of what is my intention behind. Okay, next come back to the concept. Now here, the status 500, which is called as internal server issues. Guys, internal server, as I already said, either there is an issue with your server. Sometimes when you are sending a request from client to a server, maybe those who are booking a tickets in IRCTC application, all of a sudden your application get corrupted and it will give 500 internal server error. And it could be any reason. It could be any reason with respect to the server, or if the code is not working as expected, or parameters that we are passing from client to your server which is not sufficient parameters. Whatever the reason it is, that server related and code related issues will be logged. The response is 500. Guys, only if the state is 4, and the status is 200, only in this condition only you can say that your request is successfully placed from client side to a server and the response is received. Remaining all other cases, you can say that the request is placed but it is not successfully executed. Now internally, when you are placing an Ajax call, sending a request is not only a responsibility, boss. And when you guys are asking any question, until that trainer is giving a response, you must have to wait. And some people will ask question, they will not even listen answers. That is not a right way of placing a request from client to a server. Now the request is, when can we say the request is successfully completed? The moment when the request is placed from client to server, if the server processed the request and it responded with a data, and the data is collected from a server in a client, and if it is updated into a UI, that is where I can say that it is completely placed. Now, so if you ask me the difference between 400 and 500, guys, listen. 400 is something resource not found, I said. Resource not found in the sense, for example, you are looking for a delete function, delete user. Delete user. Think that delete user function which is there in a server. Now from a client to a server, the moment when you are planning to delete a user, think that you are sending a request from client side to a server side, this function. If this function is available, you won't even get any resource related issues. In case, think about it, the client is sending a request from presentation layer to a application layer, but delete user function which someone has already deleted, that function is nowhere exist. But even though client is keep looking for a server, function or a method or a file which is there inside a server, but the server is not finding that particular file. In such cases, you are going to get a error, that is a resource not found. Maybe when you people are working on HTML, if you are looking out for about.html, if it is not created yet, you might have noticed this page not found. 404, all 400 series, I mean to say 401, 402, 403, 404. 404 is commonly seen error which is related to a page not found. Now this is resource related, my dear friends, and this is internal server related and code related, and this is permission related. 300 is permission related, 200 is success related. 200 series, either if you get 200, 201, 202 till 299. Don't even ask me, sir, can you explain me what is 277? So the series of error that we are explaining here. Okay, see, these are the main concepts which every developer has to remember when you people are planning to integrate any Ajax calls. Now methods, states and status. Now these are the main core concepts. Next, let me see here. So when you are sending a request from client side to a server, guys, now the moment when user clicks, but first you have to attach a click event. To attach a click event, That is where in the line number 194, I selected an element to whom I am planning to attach an event. I have added a click event. Next, once user clicks, I must have to place an Ajax call. That is where you can see here, to handle that Ajax call, I have used a callback function. The callback function responsibility is to handle the Ajax call. To place an Ajax call, I am placing, see the send method. If this send method is not there, the connection is not going to place from client side to a server. Now send is a predefined method. Now that XML HTTP request objects, since we created, and HTTP object.send, which is a predefined method. The send method will collect the request from client and it will try to place it to a server. In the behind the scenes, now it will immediately go back to a line number 183. It will open up a connection. When the request is raised from client, it will open up a connection. Now this open method takes two parameters or three parameters. First parameter is we have to pass as a method. Second parameters you have to pass as a URL to whom you are going to send a request. From client side, server side address also we need it, right? Now the server side address, either it could be a server side file or it could be a server side function. That is depends upon what sort of server side that you are using. That's why you should always interact with the server side people as well. Sir, why people are going to, when you are going for interviews, why people are always checking communication skills and attitude? Attitude plays very important role if you want to grow. If you have a very bad attitude, and I am sure you can't even grow. No matter if you are a Karotpati or if you are a Bhikshapati, no, people are not caring about it. If you have a good attitude, people will try to allow, and people love to share their knowledge. And if you don't know how to communicate with the people, then what happens if you are showing a rude behavior with the people, then people are also reacting. It's something like however you behave, the same, the reflection comes into your picture. Now the moment when you are sending a request from client side to a server, now you should also know to whom you have to send a request from client side to a server. You have to talk to your backend team, and the backend team has to give that URL. Now here, about.php is the one which is planning to handle this get request from client side to the server side. Now, once the request, now here, line number 183. Server side file should be a PHP only, or it can be any other language. Server side can be any, either you can use PHP or Java or .NET or Node.js. That is up to company. It depends upon company to company and project to project, and they are going to decide what sort of servers that they wanted to use it. Here I picked up one example. It could be any server side. Next, the moment 183 line number, it will try to send a request from client side to a server. Next, line number 185. Now, sending a request is only our responsibility, and also expecting the response and collecting the response is also our responsibility. Now, to check whether the request is processed properly or what is the state of that request, for that, onReadyState is a predefined method is equal to anonymous function. This function is allowing developer to handle that particular request which is being placed from client side to a server. Now here we are checking the ready state. As I already said, when you are sending a request from client side to a server, then you must have to decide whether it could be if the state is, whether the state is 4 or state is 2 or 3. As I already said, if the ready state is 4 and the status is 200, then that is known as success. Remaining all other scenarios, that is a failure. Now you see here, manually, I have used a decision making here. if conditions and else conditions, and I started checking. This points to my current object. Now my current object is HTTP object which I have created in line number 181. Now this dot ready state is equal to 4 and this dot status is equal to 200, which means that the request is successfully placed and response is about to collect. Now whatever the response text that we have collected from a server, you see here this dot response text is a property which we are collecting it from a server on successful placing of a request. That response, you can see line number 188 inner HTML, get element by ID dot inner HTML. We are setting it for HTML element. Now this has a lot of meaning, my dear friends. The ultimate goal of implementing an Ajax call is sending a request from client side to a server and expect the response and collect the response and update the response into client. This is what the main motto of Ajax. This is what the main motto of Ajax. Okay. Now, in order to ensure that request is successfully placed and response is collected, that is where the line number 188 I have used ready state and status, and the response which we have collected from this dot response text. The response also, either the response could be in the format of JSON, or it can be in the format of HTML, or it can be format of string, or it can be in the format of XML. Now XML is no more, and most of the cases we can also expect the response in the form of JSON. That is what yesterday we created dynamic cards using a sample data JSON that I have created, JSON object that I have created. So go back to my yesterday session and understand how are we going to read the data from my JSON object. That will help. Now here we are getting only a response text. That response text we are updating back to a client element, which is called as demo, whose ID is equal to demo. Inner HTML is a property. For that inner HTML, whatever we are collecting as a response, we are assigning back. Else condition, if there is any errors, then we are also displaying there is error. Now let me see, this is success state. Guys, listen carefully. If I am going back, whatever the response that I am collecting it from my backend, the response, what we are collecting it from a backend, we are displaying here. In case on click, let me go back, about 123.php. Now this about 123.php, which is nowhere related to our files, no file which is in the name of about 123p. Now if you go on reload it, guys, listen carefully. Now this is a sample text which is there. Now if you click on about, what happens? Now you see that the data is not even coming. The data is not coming. The user is expecting some data, but their data is not coming. What happens? See, we are not even displaying any error message. We are displaying error message in the console. You see that there is some error. Please wait for some time. If you display in a console, do you think that users are going to open a developer tool to see the errors? They don't care about what is the errors, and you have to engage them, boss. To do so, instead of displaying error in a console tab, we are going to display that error in alert. Alert is going to notify. Now if you go on reload, and click off about, now there is some error, please wait for some time. So that if here you see that someone, the data science guy, he has asked about 40, what is 400? Now see, we are looking for a resource which is there in backend, that is about 123.php. We are looking for one file which is nowhere explained, which is nowhere available. That is where 40 resource related issues, 401, 402, 403, 404. Now 404 is the one which commonly will get it. Now that is fine. Now, so this is a next. So since we are learning client side, we don't want to understand what is there in about.php. But since people are requesting, I'm just writing some. See, it is just only one liner of code that I have added in about.php. This is a HTML output that we are giving when people are clicking on the button. So in general, the server side people are going to keep writing a different kind of examples. Yes guys, this is already I said this example in order to explain you the basics of Ajax. This is a W3 schools one. Next, what I am trying to explain, let me talk about jQuery implementation which we have used in our real life example. Now let me see the same exercise. Guys, listen carefully. I have created one more example which we have used for our projects. jQuery Ajax. This will give you a lot of hints. Now if you come back, index.php file. This is the initial file that I wanted to load. Let me open that file. This is completely I have used localhost / Ajax jQuery Ajax. Let me go for jQuery -Ajax / jQuery _Ajax. The folder name is jQuery _Ajax. Guys, you see here, this is one sample example that we have created. On click of add user. Now you see, now I started clicking on add user, one pop-up. Here I am just giving, let me give my name. My name is already there. Let me delete my name. Now there is some technical errors. Please try again after some time. So I think it is not being deleted. Why it is not deleted? I wanted to check. So if you go back and check the Ajax calls we are placing. Let me check in a network tab. Guys, when we are planning to delete any record, the record is not being deleted. Oh, why? Because we are looking for one file which is nowhere available in our server, user action 123.php. Now let me go back to that particular folder. We have a user action.php, but user action 123 is not there. Now let me go back to that request, and wherever that user 123, search for user 123. Now here user action 123. Let me remove that. I have used jQuery Ajax here. I'll explain about that code. Don't worry about it. Now go back and reload. Now clear all the console, and you come back and see without reloading the entire web page. Now see, on click of delete, one pop-up is asking confirmation. When you click on OK, now that see only this portion is updated. Now the page is not even reloaded. Again on click of delete, you see here only this portion is updated. The page is not reloaded. You can even observe the page refresh button. Like that, it is interacting. How it is interacting, guys? Internally, the client request is being placed to a server. Server is communicating to the database, and it is deleting a data from a database element. Okay, next what I'm trying to explain, let me delete all the elements. I'm deleting each one of them. If you are planning to edit, you can also edit it and update. So edit, record is edited. If you can go back and check, record is already edited. Then after that, if you want to close, you can close it. Now manu123@gmail.com. So this, if you wanted to delete it without reloading the page, you are deleted. Excuse me. This is how you can implement it. Now on click of new user, now I have implemented a pop-up. This I have used Bootstrap for this. This particular example I have used a Bootstrap. Now you don't need to worry about this Bootstrap and all, so that you can even learn later. Bootstrap is a responsive web design framework, guys. Next, let me keep adding one product. Here I am adding one user, Murli, and just a dummy email which I am adding, murli@gmail.com. And phone number, I am just giving some dummy phone number. Click on submit. Now on successful submit, you can even see that the data without reloading enter page, the data is added and it is displaying in client. Internally, now the client is sending a request to the middleware. The middleware is processing request to the database. Again, once the data successfully inserted, we are fetching the data from a backend to front end to display it. This is where the push and pull requests are happening both called simultaneously. Push and pull requests are happening. So to implement this, we have used jQuery and we also used Ajax. Guys, let me explain how did we implement like this kind of examples that we have used in real life examples. If you wanted to add a product, however, we have used to add a user. Similarly, if you wanted to add a product into e-commerce application, or to delete a categories, or to add a categories, to add a different kind of brands, everywhere we are going to use this kind of create, read, update, and delete operations in a live examples. Understand? Now let me explain about how did we implement this logic. Now on click, first we are opening a pop-up. When we are opening a pop-up, nowhere Ajax call is placing. Now on click or submit, we are also doing some sort of validations. We should also ensure the data which is entered by user is the right data or wrong data. If wrong data enters by user, we have to do validations to ensure that right information is collected and it is being passed to backend. We don't want to load the bad data. We don't want to send the bad data to the backend. This can be taken care. The validations also, if you are working on finance-based applications, we should take care about validations in client as well as server. But if it is a normal applications, if you do validation in client, it is sufficient enough. Now, for example, I am just, Murli, I entered name and I submitted. Now see that valid email. If I enter each and every field, I don't know what sort of users comes into my application. I should also validate each and every field. Now phone number also, some number. Now on click or submit, again the data is adding. Here we haven't taken care the duplicate data. Sometimes in live examples, we should not even allow same email again and again. Even if you try to attempt to create the email which you have already created in Gmail, which will give an error message saying that the email is already taken. Got my point? Now, how did we implement it? Guys, on click of this submit only, we are placing a request. Now, if you go back, I will try to compare. Now, if you come back here, an example, edit user, or there is an option, user action. Guys, I have written a lot of logic. All this logic is not, don't even think about it and try to understand how to place an Ajax calls in jQuery. Only concentrate on that particular code. Now, however, we had a discussion just before 5 minutes or 10 minutes before. There is a get method, post method, put method, and delete method. Now, dollar is alias of jQuery. This dollar is alias of jQuery, and by using jQuery, you need not to check. However, in JavaScript, we have to create XML HTTP request object. We have to send a connection, and we have to open a connection. We have to check whether this request is successfully placed by ready state, whether the status is 200 or state is 4, everything that you must have to check manually. But when it comes to jQuery, this all manual process of checking, which is not really needed. Now, this will be automatically taken care by a library. You should know how to Make use of the methods which are there in library to place an AJAX calls. Now dollar is an alias of jQuery. And if you wanted to place a get request, you have to use $.get. If you wanted to go for a post request, you have to go for $.post. Or if you want to go for put and delete, every method is there. But guys, listen carefully. $.ajax is the one which we are going to use many cases. Why? Because $.ajax is a method which can be handled this get, post, put and delete. All four methods can be handled by this ajax method. Now that is where if you see line number 175, I have used $.ajax. Now since $.ajax is a method, and you can see that for this method JavaScript singleton object. Now see Control X. Now line number 175 $.ajax is a method. For this method I have passed JavaScript literal way of creating an object, which is a singleton object I passed as a parameter, my dear friends. Guys, here you see here the type, URL, data type, data, before send, success, error. Now before send, success and error, these guys are methods of your singleton object. Type, URL, data type, data, these guys are properties. All these guys are predefined in jQuery Ajax. Now this type defines what sort of method that you are placing. URL is the one to whom you are sending a request from client side to a server, the server side URL. Data type, what sort of data that you are passing from client side to a server, and how are you expecting a response from a server, whether it is a JSON response or HTML response or text response, that can be taken care here. And what data that you are passing from client side to your server, the data which we supposed to collect it from a client and you have to pass it back to your server, that can be attached with a data property. And the data type is for deciding what sort of data that you are expecting from client and server, and URL is the one to whom you are going to send a request from server, from client, and type is what sort of method. This is how every property is predefined, and the values you have to give your own values. And before send is the one, so that is going to allow us to display the loader images. Loader is nothing but engagement activity. Now you see the moment, for example, if you click on click of new user, so now I am adding some data. So on click of submit, you can see that there is a loader which is immediately that came and it is disappears. In case sometimes if you are sending a request from a different guy, a server side file which is nowhere available, this is a I can say page not found or resource not found error will come. Now reload, on click of new user, I am adding some test user, test@gmail.com. and 1 2 3 4 5 some numbers. On click of submit, you see here the loader is displaying. In order to display this loader, the moment before sending a request, the before send is a callback function which triggers if something happens before sending a request from client side to a server. Now you have sent a request, but it is not processing. The reason is you have sent a request from client to server, the server is nowhere exists, that particular is not available in that particular file is not available in your server. Okay, so to engage those kind of activities, that we are using all the source code like conditions with respect to the engagement that we have to taken care in before send, which is also callback method. Here internally you are not writing any state or status, you are not even checking manually. You are also not creating a XML HTTP request object. You are also not sending the connection. You are also not opening a connection. That is can be automatically taken care by this $.ajax method internally. Now, in case the moment when you send a request from client side to a server, the server will process. That success is a callback which is going to handle the success, the response state of your Ajax call. And error is a callback which is going to handle the response state of your Ajax call. Now, success and error, these guys are a callback functions which can be executed the moment when Ajax call is successfully executed or if there is any errors. Now, previously, just before few minutes, you would have seen this alert message. There is some technical errors. Please try again after some time. This alert has displayed because there was an error. The reason is we are looking for a server-side file which is named in the name of user action 123.php, but we don't have such file in server. That is where it started giving an error. That error automatically controlled by a error callback. All the success data is controlled by success callback. This logic you need not to worry about it. This logic, a business logic which I have written according to my example. Now here, what are the major points that you people have to understand? How to place Ajax calls by using jQuery. That is what this particular bit and piece of code, if you understand, that is sufficient enough. Guys, jQuery Ajax, JavaScript Ajax, which I just copied from W3 schools, that is just only for you to understand what is a concept. Now, jQuery or React or Angular or Vue.js, these are the advanced libraries and advanced frameworks only being used in live real-time applications. Make sense? Now, if you wanted to execute, Ajax methods, get method separately or post method, put method, delete method separately, you have an option to execute it. But instead of using individual methods, we are just going to execute them by using $.ajax. Now, $.ajax is a method which can be taken care by get or post. Here, you can even change the methods according to your requirements and whatever the operation that you are planning to do. Based upon that, you can even perform this. Make sense? If you people wanted to become a full stack developer, now the client side only HTML to Angular, you can become a client side developer. If you wanted to become a full stack developer, the person must have a knowledge on client, server, database, and you should also have a knowledge on CI/CD process, DevOps, continuous integration and continuous development, lot more. In a server side also, you can't even learn every language. We will be able to learn only one or two, either Java or .NET or Python or Node, PHP or Perl, Ruby, any one of them you can learn. And nobody can't become expert by learning hundreds of programming languages which are there in the market. Hope you people are having at least some idea about what is Ajax. Now, the response also, guys, useraction.php. If you open that useraction.php, they are giving a response in the format of HTML. Sometimes there are many APIs. If you go back, the free APIs, API endpoints for testing, REST APIs, free API, REST APIs. If you see public APIs, guys, JSON placeholder, fake APIs. I'm just opening some fake APIs. Now you see here to do this particular fetch API URL. If you load in a browser, you will be able to get the data. Now see this is a JSON string that they are giving as a data. Now to do /1, only first user ID information is coming. In case if I try to remove this to do to-dos directly if I use. Now you see that they are giving it is array of object. You can even see that this is array of object. I already explained how to deal with this kind of array of objects in the previous session. Please try to understand. Now, generally you need not to learn backend if you wanted to place an Ajax calls. There are many free fake backend APIs are there. You can even copy them and you can use it according to your some requirements. So when you are deployed into your live examples, and still you may have to learn some couple of other interesting things also. But for time being, you please try to understand how are we going to place an Ajax calls. Okay, that's all for today's session, my dear friends. And in case if you have any questions, let's have a question and answer session now. Feel free to ask if you have any questions. And Himavat, people are keep on asking about this, the source code. Can you please provide me a drive link where I'll try to put all this source code so that it will be accessible for the students?
Yeah, sir, but drive access I don't have, sir. I should ask this team, sir.
Now, please try to check with the team and inform me so that we'll try to put all the
Yeah,
code.
sure, sir.
Okay. So apart from this, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in this live chat. So someone is asking about, is that necessary for learning PHP programming once again? Guys, see, that is up to your wish. If you wanted to learn PHP to write a server side, you can learn. Or if you wish to go for Node or Java, that is up to you. But since I have used PHP since it is an open source. So server side, see, generally I already shown you one example. Directly client cannot communicate to the database. If client is directly communicating to a database, there is a problem. The security issues comes into picture. To avoid these security issues, the middleware comes into a picture. That middleware, either it could be a Java, or it could be a Python, or it could be PHP, or .NET, or Perl. That is up to you. Can we do it with MySQL database instead of PHP? MySQL is a database bus. PHP is a server side. There is no relationship between these two. I already explained about get 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 example in JavaScript and post example in jQuery. If you see that post method, the type is post in the line number 176, Aman Chaudhary. So here I have used a method called post. So here if you wanted to change it to get, try to change it to get and try to perform a get request. Or if you want to go for put request, type you have to change it to post. Or if you wanted to go for delete and type you have to change it to delete. Now for dynamic applications, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, jQuery and Angular. This is only for a client side. And for creating a dynamic application, you need a front end, you also need a middleware, you also need a database. These three systems are all together which will help us to create a dynamic applications. But when you are learning, the front-end developers are going to build a front-end part of it, and back-end developers are going to build a back-end part of it, and database developers are building a database part of it. But to get the data from a server dynamically, we are using this Ajax or Angular or React, all these guys we are using it. Someone is asking, is it possible for us to create a chat-based application? Yes, it is possible. Can we host our website online with the database? Yes, we can host. If yes, then how? Because you have to go for AWS, a cloud hosting, or you have to go for HostGator or GoDaddy. You have to purchase a space first. Once you purchase a space, then you have to move your code from local server to the application server, which you have hosted. And each server should also be mapped with a domain. Now, www.xlr.com. Now, xlr.com is a domain name, and that respective application code that we have hosted in a server, then the domain and server which we have mapped. That is why if you people are searching, it will come into the picture. Or else, if the domain name is not properly mapped with the server, if you don't know how to host it properly, then your website won't even work for people, those who are joining online. IT means backend is copied to middleware. It means backend is copied to middleware. See, middleware programming is not even copied easily. It is protected. Sir, we are going to learn Angular. Is it good learn mean stack to be full stack developer? Guys, first, if you want to go for a full stack, first go for one stack at least, that is front end. One stack, if you learn either Angular or React, then you can go for a mean stack or MERN stack or full stack. And as a fresher, I will tell you, see, however, it is difficult for us to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner at one shot. And learning full stack at one shot will also be tough for a freshers. Most of the people are making mistakes, and they wanted to become a crorepati without learning technology. And overnight, everybody would like to become a crorepatis. That is not possible. So for that, we need a continuous efforts and continuous struggles and continuous discipline. A lot of things are required. So please, if you want to become a full stack developer, first you become a one stack, then you move on. So to convert JSON into a string, we do have some methods like JSON stringify. That method will convert JSON object into JSON string. Similarly, JSON.parse is there that converts JSON string into JSON object. Since you are a student, so there are few hosting providers are there where they are going to give a free, and you can use those providers. But when you are seeking for free, the advantages and limitations, there will be many. Advantages will be very less because they won't even provide all the features which are really needed for your website to host. They will give only few features free, but not every feature. That's why free hosting I would not recommend for any website. I would always recommend to go for a paid hosting. GitHub pages, all these guys are just free hosting, but it won't even give a flexibility to create a database. All these facilities will not be there. Only the front-end code that you can host it in a GitHub pages. Any other questions? From tomorrow onwards, what we are planning to start Angular, and kindly ask your friends to join, at least understand how single page applications are going to build. So next week we are planning to wind up these sessions, and kindly know, sir, back backside developer. What is backside developer? Designer, which language are learning? And I did not even understand your question properly. Backside developer, a backend or backside? Sir, I would recommend people to learn React now, because React and Angular, both of them are highly popular. So either you can learn React or you can learn Angular. But here, Angular and React, both of them are highly popular because Angular is released by Google and React is released by framework, Facebook. So that both of them are highly in demand. Which domain? See, .com domain is always recommended if you wanted to do a commercial sort of business that you wanted to do. Then .com. .in is specific to India. That is specific to India. So you can go for .com domain if you wanted to do business online. Backend, either you can go for Node.js or Python or Java. But if you ask me which backend, now I would recommend you people to go for a Python. But before stepping into backend, first you try to learn frontend. Then you can learn backend. Then you can learn database. Slowly you can become a full stack developer. Don't even directly dive into your backend. See, server side, you can even pass any kind of data, it can understand bus. But when you are passing, see, the client has capabilities to parse a JSON string or JSON object. That is why we would always expect in the network calls to exchange the data between one layer to another layer. We would always expect to pass JSON. Why? Because it is easy and it is popular. And that does not mean that JavaScript, server will support only JSON. Server has a capabilities to support any format of data. Hope I think there is no more questions, I guess. If you have any questions, difference between Angular JS and Angular. See, Angular JS and Angular, the main difference, if you ask me, the design pattern. Angular JS is built with a JavaScript, pure JavaScript. Angular is built with TypeScript. And the design pattern which was used in Angular JS is MVC or MVVM or MVT. But whereas coming to Angular is component and service-based design patterns. Those guys are two different frameworks, I can say. But it is both of them are built by Google. There is a confusion in my mind. I think all the students also have the same confusions that if we learn React, we think Angular is best and it will more require so sir. See, any one, either Angular or React, any one you learn, then you will have a benefits. No matter whether you are learning Angular or you are learning React, but this program is crafted for Angular, then try to learn Angular. Parallelly, if you get a chance, you please try to learn React as well, so that the companies are expecting developers to have a knowledge on either React or Angular. so that you will get an opportunities. My question is there any need to learn both? Because see guys, it is very simple. As long as if you have a skill set, multiple skill set, and you will be in demand in the market. Think that okay, if you know only HTML, your demand will be limited. If you know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, your demand will be little more. And if you know React and Angular, your demand even will be more. That is why, as long as if the skill set, if you improve, if you keep adding multiple skill set, then you can even keep learning many things. And your internal code of JavaScript, Ajax in jQuery, I have already explained. That is sufficient enough. Okay, sir, straightforward question, which is easy. See, guys, I'll tell you, nothing is difficult, nothing is easy. And if you ask me, so Angular is a framework, React is a library. Framework has its own advantages, React library also has its own advantages. Now, I don't want to say this is easy or that is easy. No. Why? Because both the frameworks both the framework and library is built for a different reason in the market, and so nothing is easy. You see, if you feel Angular is easy, it is easy, and React is easy, React is. But you know, the concept wise, if you ask, framework will have a lot of benefits compared to your libraries. Which is preferred, Angular JS or Angular? Angular is preferred. Angular JS is outdated. Okay, so that's all for today's session. So we'll try to meet tomorrow. We'll start with Angular. Thank you so much for your participation. Have a great day. Bye bye.